Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, up next we have Larry in Evansville. Hey, Larry, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call today. How you doing?
We're doing great. How can we help?
So, I'm recently found you guys, and I'm really trying hard to figure out budgeting type things. I grew up in a family that, didn't really care about it, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I've looked at EveryDollar, and I'm just overwhelmed with things. Like, I try and budget, and then something comes up, and it's just very overwhelming. And it's just, I'm to the point of, I'm tired of, living every paycheck to paycheck, and, the next week I'm broke. And it's just hard. And I just need help budgeting. I need to figure out, where do I start?
What's the problem right now when you say I feel broke? And are there too many bills after your paychecks show up?
So what happened is, a couple of years ago, I did some bad things. I got addicted to some things after an accident I had, and I screwed up our family. And when I did that, it made a lot of debt for my family. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
And I'm trying to get out of it. And I try so hard. I work, 65 hours a week. And it's just, I don't know. I honestly can't tell you exactly where it's going. I am paying down the debt that I'm doing, but then also, car repairs come up. My kids need something.
Yeah. Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
How old are they?
2, 5, and 8.
Wow. So you guys have been through a lot, Larry, for over the last how long has this journey been for you guys? And are you sober now?
I've been sober for over a year now.
Okay.
A great guy from Boston, took me up there and helped me out. And
yeah.
It's just the last 6 years before that, I was working, but I'd leave the job because, something would happen or I wouldn't go to work, and, I'd get behind on things. And, I'd say, I'll push this off for now. And it's all just coming back to haunt me. And I'm trying so hard to budget money.
Okay, so tell me this, Larry. How much do you guys make in a year, just household income?
So my wife makes about 30, about 28 before taxes. And then me, I just started back working about a year ago. And this past year, I made about 51, consistent staying, with the same employer.
That's great. What do you do?
I work in home health care. I work with mentally handicapped individuals.
Okay.
It's something I've loved for a while.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you guys are making around 81,000. And what debt do you guys have?
So we have a car that got repoed a couple years ago that I because of me, that I'm working to pay off just to, get that out of there.
Yeah.
We got my wife's car now that, we had to have because we had to have reliable transportation for her.
Mm-hmm. How much is that? How much is that?
It's about 8 right now.
8,000. Okay. And how much is it that you're repaying for the repossession?
About 14.
Okay.
I had bought it for about 16, but I owed 14 and, just basically stopped paying.
Yeah. Okay. So the 2 cars. What else?
And then we have combined between just little loans that we tried to get by, and loans to family. We have about, 15 there.
Okay.
And then medical debt, we have about 6,000, but I'm trying to get some assistance from their financial aid there.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's just a process of trying to get that figured out right now.
For sure.
Anything else? Any credit card debt? Student
so
loans?
That's in with the 15, there's some credit cards, which is about, 1,500 of it.
Okay.
The rest is loans for family little loans just here and there that, I thought would, get me by to where I need to be. And then I found you guys and, realized that there's something I'm doing wrong. And, I finally built up the courage and then also the embarrassment that I have to, call you guys and, just figure it out. And
yeah,
I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I think you've won probably the hardest battle. Money is nothing compared to fighting and becoming sober and walking that whole journey, Larry. So if you can do that, you can do this. Okay. So just hear me say that. it's an amazing thing when people find freedom in one area of their life. It seems like it opens up the door in other areas that they long for that same level of peace and freedom, that you've found in that part of your life. And now that's transferring to your money. And money, was and is possibly in the present still a stressful place, but we want to be able to walk with you and give you just some peace for a plan, and I think it's one of those things too, Larry, that it can carry a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, because the hard thing with money is that you see the numbers of the past that stay with you, and you have to, face those and figure out what to do. But just know what you've done in this last year. You can do this. Like, you guys together can do this process. Is your marriage in a good spot? You and your wife, are you guys on the same team, just at least from the financial standpoint, that you guys are wanting to work a plan together?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and she just, not the best with math, so she leaves it up to me, and I don't want to, stress her out too much, but, I talked to her about it, but I'm just still ashamed of it to, talk too much.
Okay. Okay. So, what I would suggest as we start working through the budget is I do want her to be involved, and she doesn't have to be the one that, is all excited about it and like gets in there every day and all the things. But I want you guys to be in a constant communication and be on the same team, because that's going to help with these day-to-day things. Because if the kids pipe up and want something, there's a good chance you guys are going to look at them and say the famous words I always heard growing up: it's not in the budget. It's not in the budget. Like, there's going to be times that you guys as a family are going to have to make some hard decisions to make these numbers work. And that's part of the process, right? That you're learning how to do this and define margin. So in EveryDollar, we talk about, and you said you've walked through it, but your income minus those expenses equaling zero. And we have on EveryDollar Premium, which we'll give you after this call, if you don't have that one already. It's our paid subscription part of EveryDollar, but what's so great is they have a paycheck planning application within it. And so what ends up happening, Larry, we find that what's difficult is you plan out your month and you say, okay, we're going to spend, $600 on groceries. But then all of a sudden, the mortgage or the rent hits, the electricity bill, like how all the bills are lined up, one paycheck of the first isn't going to cover it all, right? And
you run out of money before those bills are paid.
That's
and
right.
So it'll help you figure that out.
Yeah, and it feels like you're broke in that sense. And so what the paycheck planning part of EveryDollar does is it's able to show you, hey, here's where you're getting close to the red. So what can you rearrange in your budget to make sure that paycheck goes as far as you need it to go, with some cushion even till you're paid again on the 15th or however often you're paid. And so that money then is going to be able to take you through it. And then there is a goal, Larry, I would say, from budgeting, at least for me, George, is that you're kind of a paycheck ahead. So you always have that cushion. So instead of using the money that just hits your account, you're kind of using the money from the paycheck before even, just to give you some breathing room to not feel like, oh my gosh, our account is getting down to zero, right? And so that may take a few paycheck cycles to get in that place. But do you guys have any money saved at all? Do you have an emergency fund?
No.
Okay.
I've been trying, and anytime I do it, and then something comes up, and
what are the things that are coming up? You've mentioned that a few times. What are those kind of things?
Just at the beginning of the school year, my son, has gained weight and lost a lot of weight, and so we had to buy him a whole new, wardrobe of clothes, and his mother, who is not my wife currently, there's just a lot of, stuff going on there. Like she, I feel like sometimes I have to replace her because she chose other people over him. And, I try and overcompensate. I'm not going to lie to nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get past that, but
yeah,
I hate seeing the way he's broken because of it. And it's just messing with me. So,
which is very understandable. I mean, I see that, and we see that a lot with families, that there is that overcompensation of buying things for kids or wanting that. And I'll tell you, Larry, though, at the end of the day, what he needs and what he wants is love and acceptance from the people in his life, and that's you. And so, I mean, and so that is something that you are going to have to be the adult in those situations and say, that this toy is not going to be the thing that brings him lasting joy and acceptance and love. Like it's just not. And so knowing that, even though it is so easy just to run to stuff and buy stuff to make someone feel good for a moment, there will be a boundary there. So I think that there's going to be a level of discipline that you and your wife, I want you to get on the same page with her and say, okay,
Sure.
once we do this budget, it's done. And the kids are going to ask, stuff is going to come up, and we have to say no. We have to stick to this because I want you to get $1,000 quickly. If you guys don't have any money saved, even getting a starter emergency fund of $1,000, it's going to free you up. And as you go through EveryDollar, again, those are places where you're going to be able to say in categories, okay, we used to spend this much and not to eat. We're not doing that. And we're putting that aside here. Like you really do sit there and take things away, lower those expenses. And then for you, if there is a way to up some income for this season, I think it's one of the best things that you could do just to bring in some extra money to get that $1,000 and then start working your way through this debt and working your way to pay this debt off. And I mean, there is hope in this. I mean, we get these calls all the time,
You
Larry.
make 80 and you owe 43. This is a very fixable problem, and it might take 2 years, but we can get out of this. So
That's right.
Tactical things, Larry. You can add a miscellaneous category to the budget for some ankle biters. You can also print out your bank statement, and that way you'll see a real picture of what was spent in the last few months. That's going to help with this budget as well.
Yeah, and give it 3 months, Larry. I mean, we're in February, March, April. Give it April, May, okay? Don't give up. Keep sticking with it. But hold on the line. Austin will pick up. We're going to give you Financial Peace University, our 7-lesson course on money, and EveryDollar Premium, just to make sure that you guys have the knowledge that you need as you start this journey. We're cheering for you.
Create your free EveryDollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.